Week 14. Welcome back. It's nice to take time off to spend the holidays doing what you want. Now, back to the grind. Let's focus in. This week is the launch platform for the fantasy football playoffs. Now, I've got a chance to make it in every single league I'm in this year, miraculously. So let's nail these picks this week. Let's do what we do. Let's continue the process. You're either staring down a playoff sweat or you're playing a spoiler. There's no weeks off. Ironically, I'm coming off of a week off. Thursday, Lions host the Packers 31-34. Detroit wins. This was an exciting matchup, and Dan Campbell made sure that down the stretch, the other team did not even have the chance to upset the home team. The Packers they're a fine club, but they seem to be a little below the Lions in terms of firepower. A win there would have turned that division up for grabs, and a bit with the Lions and Vikings still gearing up to play again once more. Detroit has a grueling schedule to end the year down the stretch, but they have definitely set the tone as if to say, y'all come get some. On to Victory Sunday, Jets at the Dolphins. The great Jet collapse continues, and this week they will likely sit Sauce Gardner and Breece Hall among a couple others. Now, Miami still has a path to the playoffs, so we got to expect them to be playing this divisional rival extremely tough at home in Miami this week. Now, Braylon Allen is interesting for New York and seasonal if you're hurting at running back, and also as a tournament reach at just 5K. Otherwise, I'm going to stay away from them being the Jets. On the opposite side, Miami D is poised for a serviceable day. And Tyreek Hill is in play without Sauce Gardner playing. The Jets are a little tougher on the run game, so HN is season long at best for me here. If you want to reach for Waddle, fine. I won't, though. It just feels like you put a Hill in the flex in the cash game lineup. Fins keep their playoff hopes alive. Saints at the Giants next game. There are 4 weeks left and in the regular season, and the Saints are 2 games back from the Falcons and the Buccaneers. They are coming to New York to play football, is what I mean to say. They need to win out for a lucky chance into the playoffs. The Saints D figures to be in a prime spot versus Drew Rutrow Lock and the Giants. They could easily rack up a double-digit afternoon here. Giants also may be without the services of Malik Neighbors. That's probably going to be a game-time decision. We'll have to monitor that. Either way, Tyrone Lacy on the ground is a nice play. The Giants would need to run to take some pressure off of Locke in the pass game. The Saints can be ran on a bit also. So that's a nice cash game play for us, for me this week. Guys, the reason I don't play more Saints is because I'm not sure how much the offense will have to do to win this football game. Kamara and MVS are fine and seasonal. Kamara especially may be too expensive for DFS this week. We're at the point to where we need to be thinking about what teams would pull what players early and for what reasons, essentially. Saints on the road. Browns at the Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers, no doubt, going to be thinking about, listen, guys. They're thinking about that snow game a few weeks back where the Browns stole one in Cleveland. There was there was and there remains, I should say, some chippy feelings about it. And rest assured, each side is, pretty ready to renew that rivalry once more on Sunday. Russ Wilson has been steady Eddie. He's a great cash game option on Sunday. Freiermuth also in a very nice spot at only $3,800 on DK. You better believe the Muth is loose this week. I think the Pittsburgh run game finds steady work, but not enough to play Harris in DFS or Warren in seasonal for that matter. Pickens is in a nice spot. I probably keep it the seasonal. Bringing it back, I will steer clear of Jameis, but David Njoku is a real fine play at $5,100 for tournaments. Steeler defense also in a good spot. I think the Steelers even the season series between these two clubs on Sunday. with a win at home. Tomlin, hate to lose, but especially at home. Steelers at home. Falcons at the Vikings. King Kurt cometh home. Cousins returns to Minnesota to battle the Vikings, with whom he did not re-sign last year after his year was cut short, sadly due to injury. He's a nice play on Sunday for tournaments in a game that he will obviously be motivated to win. Show these guys why they should have paid you. Make them feel it by falling further behind the Lions. Cousins and London are both nice plays, and London is a cash game play at $6,400 on Sunday. Hockenson is fine for a seasonal for flex if you need. Excuse me, not Hockenson. I meant to say the other receiver for Atlanta. I'm blanking on his name right now. It's not McBride. It's oh gosh, guys, I'm sorry. It's not Mooney. It's the other guy. It's the Mick. Sorry about that, but that's who we're talking about. I apologize. I should not be doing that. I should remember that name. I'll try to remember it, but he's fine for seasonal if you need. Again, that's not Mooney. That's not London. It's the other guy there. Okay. For the Vikings, I don't think you need Darnold, but you can bring back the Cousins play with Addison from the Vikings. Jefferson is a bit too pricey for what we've gotten in DFS lately, but I like him this week. In seasonal, I would feel confident in playing him. In DFS, we just need to not do that at that price, I think, this week. I'm tempted, but we won't do it. Addison is a cash game play for me, as I expect a fair amount of points in this one. Vikings out early with the Falcons chasing just makes a hell of a lot of sense this week. Jefferson and Hockenson is season long for sure. Bijan Robinson and also Aaron Jones are fine backs for seasonal, but we'll stay away from DFS. Vikings should have an extensive scouting report on their former QB Cousins. I can't see him going up there and getting the win. Vikings win at home. Raiders at the Buccaneers. I don't really care who's running the ball for the Vegas Raiders, to be honest. McCormick or Madison, if you need it for seasonal, you have to watch to see who plays, who doesn't. But for DFS, no dice. Now, Brock Bowers is a nice play on the other hand this week. I have 5 tight ends that I'm recommending for you guys this week, and 2 of them are from this game. All of them can be used in cash this week or tournament. So Bowers is in play at $6,500. And I will say in all candor, probably in tournament, since there are good, cheap options this week, like Freiermuth at tight end. If he can suit up, I like Jacoby Myers in tournaments also for $5,600 this week. For the Bucks, Rachaad White at $5,300 would be my choice between the 2 running backs that they have. I also like Cade Otton this week at $4,400. A lot. Fire that guy up. It'll take a complete effort from Tampa Bay with the passing game, the running game, and the defense all playing a crucial role in the game if the Bucks win at home. If the Falcons lose and the Bucks win, they would overtake them for control of first place in the division. So you better believe Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield will have the boys ready to play on Sunday. Panthers at the Eagles next game. So another one where, to be honest, I'm afraid of a team getting up too big and pulling guys. Everything, including the Philadelphia defense, costs too much for DFS this week. If anything, Saquon, you can definitely pay up for Saquon and play him. That's every single week, for crying out loud, although I don't think I do it this week. I don't think I pay for anyone more expensive, for that matter, than Kyren Williams at $7,300 this week, for context. For seasonal play, Hurts, Brown, Devonta Smith, everyone, play them. We expect the Panthers to be chasing, and thus Thielen figures to be in a good spot. I think that's all I would play from the Panthers. I'm playing Thielen in tournaments, and that price is at $5,300. That's pretty much it from the Panthers, though. In a game we expect them to lose big. Who knows? They could play close like they did Kansas City. I don't see it, though. Birds at home in a game they win and move on. They've got to be thinking about the playoffs, and I'd be surprised if guys didn't get some rest if they are up big or they end up being up big. Jaguars at the Titans, just a nasty hit on Trevor Lawrence last week. He's on the shelf for the year now, and Mac Jones does not inspire much confidence in this offense. That's why I love this Titans defense this week at home for $2,800. Them or the Saints is likely what I do in every single lineup for DFS this week. Hard to get away from just that $2,800 or $2,900 respectively for those teams. Levis should be okay, and Calvin Ridley is fine for seasonal, but I'd be more interested in Tony Pollard this week than those two guys. He's in play at $6,400 in DFS for me this week on DraftKings. There isn't much I want to bring it back with from Jacksonville, but I expect the Titans defense to be a fine and perhaps even popular play. Titans win that game at home. Onto the Bears at the 49ers. So look, I mean, we're all in agreement, right? Like the Bears are going to lose this game, right? The only real question has to be the how do they lose that game. So if Swift can't go, Travis Homer gets the ball for DFS. That will be our free square space, and for seasonal, same thing. I do think Caleb Williams can get the ball out this week. If I had to pick a receiver, it will be Keenan Allen. That's a seasonal play if you're in a bind. Chicago's offense has yielded production. They just find ways to lose the friggin' football game. DJ Moore in seasonal is fine. For their part, the Niners are turning to Isaac Guerrero this week at running back. Good play for seasonal. Should be way too popular for DFS for me, but he is there if you want. Purdy is back, which is great for this offense and the run game for that matter. And also for Kittle, he's a fine play this week. Mostly seasonal, but if you want him in DFS, I'm okay with it. I don't like Kittle more than McBride and Njoku or Odin, just for the sake of context. 49ers this week, just for the sake of context. 49ers defense keeps it close, but I'm not going out of my way to play these guys. Bears find a way to lose this game, and San Francisco keeps their very faint playoff hopes alive. On to the Seahawks at the Cardinals. You guys remember this one, right? From a couple of weeks ago. I did not have it right, but I expect what I wanted then to come back for me this week. Kyler Murray, that's the guy. He's my cash game QB this week, and I'm pairing him with McBride at tight end in tournaments and with James Conner in cash games this weekend. That, or the twist that makes me come back, is them at home. For this one now, I do expect them to be ahead, and I expect the Seahawks on the road to be chasing just like they were last week. And that was a gutsy win, by the way, for Geno. But I think Arizona comes to play this week. Not interested in Geno Smith, but in Jigba, Smith and Jigba, makes sense, as I expect Seattle to be chasing down the stretch. This is also why Walker is just a seasonal play for me at running back. Cards defend the home turf and split the season series with Seattle in a victory on Sunday. Bills at the Rams next game here. Now, the afternoon slate is in for a treat. The Rams are 6-6 and essentially control their own destiny in terms of the playoffs. This is a home game for them, and I expect a capital effort. Stafford is a DFS tournament play this week. I expect him to have to throw it to keep the Rams in this game with a balanced approach. I expect a close game, and because of that, Kyren Williams should have an impact. At $7,300, I'll play him in tournaments on Sunday. The Rams can set up and run play action effectively here this weekend. Of the two LA receivers, and we've been on the nose about this thing lately, I'm going to take Kupp this week. The Bills are a fine unit on defense, but the Rams have a lot of options to progress through. This is going to make for some exciting watching on Sunday. I look forward to the battle up front. Can the Rams offensive line hold up in pass pro? Will the Bills have to send an extra defender to combat that if they can? Josh Allen, either way, is a nice play, but I'm not going to pay up for him this week. Khalil Shakir is in a nice spot, and he's a cash game play for me this week at $5,900. I don't think the Rams offense goes wild, but they get some production. Ultimately, an efficient Buffalo offense will win this football game. Cooks, Shakir, Kincaid, all these guys led by Captain Allen, Josh Allen, all their big players, they're going to do their parts, and the defense is also going to deliver. So we're going to take the Bills on the road in a tougher than what you would expect environment this week. We can march on the Sunday night now. Chargers at the Chiefs. Look, the Chiefs have skated by a few times this year. And for what it's worth, I smell another close game. This one figures to be more of a defensive struggle with the offense trying to break out very late in the game for each side, each team. So, for 3.5 quarters, though, I'm just not sure what we get. Chiefs D and the Chargers D will both be on display. I do like Ladd McConkey and Disley. As far as the Chargers offense goes, I expect Herbert to manage the game, manage this football game, and not turn that ball over. And from the Chiefs, I expect a solid effort from Pacheco, especially at the goal line this week. Solid efforts from Hopkins and Kelsey, but I don't see one of them going bonkers, if you will. This will be a close one. And I have the Chargers having a few things go their way down the stretch. Some calls, perhaps PI, maybe an untimely and rare Mahomes turnover. He has had more of them than usual this year. We're finding out what the Chargers are made of, and I think they can pull off an upset on Sunday. And finally, on to Monday Night Football, the Bengals at the Cowboys. So, folks, what can we say? The Bengals defense is bad. They're very bad. We've seen the offense score, to be technically true, a zillion points and still lose. The Cowboys offense is not very inspired right now. But the mix of them being mediocre and the Bengals being bad on defense means we should expect some production. Lamb should have a better week than he has had in several outings. Dowdle can find some room also on the ground this week. Ferguson works for seasonal. If he scores a touchdown, that could be your team dropping the Monday night hammer that punches that ticket into the playoffs for you. Now, of course, Burrow on the other side, you got to play and chase also in all formats. I don't need to tell you that. Same thing goes for Mr. Chase Brown. And as previously stated, the problem with the Bengals isn't really their offense. It's the defense. And that defense is facing a subpar offense. So we have to expect the Bengals to win, even though the Cowboys might come through with some garbage time production. All right, that's it. Remember, we win. Not hope for injuries. That's beta male activities, folks. Good luck this week, everyone. And let's meet here next week and learn, scout, win, and repeat.
My daddy